Hello everyone, I am Jason, otherwise known as J.E. Gillikin on the forums and on the Discord server, here to give you an orientation to establishing your presence in the OCGR region on Discord. As you know, for 2020, because of the coronavirus pandemic, the National Novel Writing Month team has determined that there shall be no in-person events anywhere. That is a rule that they've put in place, and the OCGR region, that is Ottawa County, Grand Rapids in Michigan, United States, has agreed to follow these rules. What that means is that the normal activities that we would do, things like the kickoff at Vitali's or the day of knockout noveling at a library or the end is nigh at the library, all of those are off the table this year. Instead, all of the events that we're doing, whether it's a formal region event or a write-in or whatever it may be, is all being done on a Discord server. The purpose of this video is to orient you to Discord and to show you how to be successful in the OCGR region for NANO 2020 so that there's no ambiguity about what you're doing, why you're doing it, or how you do it. This year we have one ML, a glorious young lady named Casalia. She is the ML for the region. She's the only ML this year, which is unusual. OCGR is typically a very large and active region, and we usually have 2 or 3 MLs, but this year it's just Casalia. She is supported by 3 people who we are calling ML helpers. That would be me, J.E. Gillikin. That would be Shadow Moon Sadai. You may remember her as SMS and a former ML from a few years ago. And then RCK the writer, otherwise known as Bob. The 3 ML helpers have a primary task. We will be sitting in Discord. We will be helping people who need help and doing the normal administrative work in Discord as necessary. But Casalia is our ML, and she has been doing a phenomenal job so far, and we look forward to supporting her. So let's talk about getting Discord installed on your machine. As you'll see on the screen, I have a browser open on my Ubuntu Linux virtual machine desktop. Don't be worried about the fact that I'm running Linux for this tutorial. The Discord app itself is the same regardless of whether you're running Windows, Linux, or Mac OS X. So don't be worried about the fact that my screen doesn't necessarily look like yours. Discord will work exactly the same way. Your first step is actually to download Discord, and you go to discord.com and you will see a download link button. Mine says download for Linux because the website has correctly determined that I'm running Linux. If you're running a Windows machine, it'll say download for Windows. If you're running a Mac, it'll say download for Mac. So click the icon and then follow the normal procedure that your machine requires to install an app. When you are done with that, the next step is to launch the app. And it turns out we have the app launched already. So Discord, when you first launch it after you install it, brings you to this welcome back screen, which is kind of fun. If you already have an app, and for the OCGR region, we did use Discord quite heavily last year, so many of you returning folks will have credentials here. If you don't have credentials, go ahead and follow the register icon. So for the purpose of just being complete about this exercise, we are going to register a new account. We're going to pick a email address, a username, a password, and a date of birth. As a heads up, the date of birth here is required because Discord supports some servers that are limited to people who are above a certain age range. Please use your correct date of birth here, just so that the server knows how old you are legitimately. We are using a test account, so we're going to take a little bit of liberty, but I do not recommend that you do this. So I'm going to pick an email address, a username, call it JasonTest2, a password, which will be not what I thought it was. And then a date of birth. So my birth date is September 15. So I'm going to pick that. And I'm going to pick the year 2000. I'm actually considerably older than that, but for the purposes of a test account, we're going to let this go. So you do that, create that account, and then Discord will load. It does require you to open your email account and then click a verification link in the email to go forward. We're not going to bother with that right now because, again, this is a test account. So when Discord launches, you're going to see a screen. Along the side here, the very far left column, you've got the servers that you have. And this first one here tells you that you're on your home screen. This is basically your friend list. Right now, because this is a brand new account, we don't have any friends. That's okay. And then you've got a plus icon here and then an exclamation mark. And you might think, ooh, I'm going to add a server. But do not be mistaken. Don't do this. This is creating a new server from scratch, and you don't want to do that. What you actually want to do is go to the existing server that we've set up. So go to the Nano website and go to your region. In our case, we are OCGR, and so that's our home region. For those of you who may be watching this video who are not from OCGR, pick your home region. If you've got a Discord, you'll see a link there. But here we have, along our sidebar for OCGR, a chat icon that's got this discord.gg link that's got this weird little set of letters. Don't worry about the letters, just click the link. When you do that, it's going to send you an invitation to join the Nano OCGR server. We want to do that. We want to click this purple, this lovely periwinkle link that says join Nano OCGR. When we do that, we're going to have our Discord switch to the Nano OCGR site. And it's celebrating the fact that I'm here with Jason Test 2. It says I've hopped onto the server. Before we go any further, I want to orient you to what you're seeing on your screen. If you verified your email address, this kind of obnoxious orange bar will not be there. So we'll ignore that. I'm not going to verify this because it's a test account, but if you verified, you won't see this. Along the far left side, you've got a list of all of the servers that you're engaged with. I'm engaged in just one, OCGR, on this account. The next set of columns here is your list of channels. So you'll see that Nano OCGR is set here. You've got text channels in a group, events channels in a group, and at the bottom, voice channels, where there's only one, but that's also in a group. A channel is basically an area where you can engage with folks. The Nano OCGR team has determined that we want to keep our channel list relatively modest to avoid crosstalk and complexity. So we've got the welcome channel, which is basically Casalia welcoming folks to Nano OCGR. General chat is where most of the magic happens. This is where everybody just comes in and talks. There are no rules. You just come in and talk. And if you want to talk, go into this box at the bottom that says message OCGR chat and say something fun. This is my second test account. Along the bottom here, there are three little icons that help you figure out what's going on. For most of you, don't click the gift looking icon. That's a Discord paid thing for the server. Most people aren't going to bother with that. But there's a GIF icon that opens a search box for tenor. So if I wanted to say hello as a search, it gives me some animated GIFs. So I might pick a lovely hello bear thingy, and it pops in there. There's also an emoji icon. If you click that, it pops up a list of emoji. You can pick whichever one you want. The Nano OCGR server has put in some of our own special icons, so you are welcome to use any of those emoji as well. I might say monkey. It's our guilt monkey. And then the guilt monkey pops up. In a nutshell, that's just how you do the chat with folks in the text world. Relative to the rest of the Discord window, you'll see on the far right side a list of names. It's toggleable, so if you see this little member list icon, click it again, click it again. It's basically a toggle, and it shows you the folks that are here. So it shows you in groups based on who's online and who's offline. So right now, online, there are 2 ML helpers, Shadow Moon Sadai and J.E. Gillikin, which is me, if I'm not on my test account. We've got 24 people presently online. Given that this is October 3, that's a pretty significant thing. And then if we scroll down, we've got 108 people offline. So if you're interested in talking to somebody, you can hover over their name in the list and right-click and do something like message. When you message, you'll send a direct private message to that person. And that person will then receive a private correspondence. If you want to talk to the ML or the ML helpers, this is a good way of doing it if you want to be in private. When you do that, though, it's going to kick you into your home screen, and you'll see that it now has added a direct message to me. Go back to the Nano OCGR icon to go back to our server to get out of the private message world. So let's take a closer look at some of these text channels. Welcome is what it sounds like. It's just a generic welcome. General chat is where everybody talks. Announcements is where Casalia sends any one-way messages to everybody in the region. These are typically things that are her providing some wisdom or insight or administrative trivia. You cannot respond to anything in the announcements channel. This is just for a one-way push. But if you see that there's something here, because it'll be highlighted in bold white, you should take a look at that. The calendar group shows you all of the events that we've got in the region that are scheduled so far. There's a separate video in this series that talks specifically about calendars and events, and I encourage you to take a look at that. The War Room is just where we do generic word wars. I encourage you to look at the War video to learn more about how we use WinnieBot in the region, because that's how we do word wars in the text channels. And WinnieBot is a great tool also for managing personal goals. We've got Just Writing, which is an open text area. The Prompt Room every day. King Graham Johnson is going to give us a prompt in November that you can incorporate into your novel if you like. Memes and pet pics is exactly what it sounds like. I'm a big fan of this, and in fact you can see my 2 cats. This is Fiona and this is Murphy. Murphy is staring into your soul. We love when people put in their favorite memes, their favorite pet pics, child pics, whatever you like, because this is a cool tool for just being fun. Help and Questions is a great spot for you to ask a question of the ML and the ML helpers. We are here to help you. If you just post here, one of us will eventually get to you, and by eventually I mean within a matter of minutes or an hour or 2. The reason that we have the ML helpers is to specifically manage Discord and to make sure that everybody has a good experience. So do not hesitate to go to the Help and Questions channel and just ask whatever you want to ask. We'll help you. And then Game Room is around some games. This will be more obvious to you later on in November. There's also a group here around events. Event Room A, B, and C are for text events. Event Room Voice A and B are for voice and video events. If you've got questions about voice and video, I've got another YouTube video specifically around both events and voice and video that you should take a look at. So in a nutshell, that is Nano. That is the OCGR server. But let's take a minute to dive into some of the customization work. So there's down at the very bottom of this first left sidebar, you've got a couple of options. You've got your icon, your name, and then a number. So if this is Jason Test 2 number 1431, don't worry about the number sign. Discord allows people to have the same generic username, and so that number is how it differentiates itself on its back end. If you click mute, this mutes you server wide. If you were in a voice or video chat and you clicked mute, it automatically mutes you. Deafens everybody else so that you're not annoyed by people talking in a voice or a video chat. What we're interested in is user settings. So when you open user settings, it gives you this whole big window, and we're going to talk a few minutes about this because there's some important considerations here that you should plan for when you first join the Nano OCGR server, or whichever server your region happens to be working from. It defaults to the user settings group and my account. Here you can click the edit button to edit your avatar, change your username or your email address, or delete your account if you're so inclined. This is also where you can turn on two-factor authentication. Privacy and safety lets you set special rules around who can add you as a friend, and then any direct messages you receive, it puts a filter in place. For example, if you say keep me safe, which is not the default, it will scan everyone's direct messages, and if somebody sends you something pornographic, it will automatically filter it so you don't see it. This is a good option, for example, for young folks who are writing in the region but who may not want to be exposed to some creepy people who might pop in. Do not worry about authorized apps, connections, or billing. Those are advanced options in the user settings menu that are only for people who are hardcore Discord users. If you're not familiar with Discord, you do not need to worry about those three options. Likewise, Discord Nitro, Gift Inventory, Server Boost, and Hype Squad are also advanced tools that are only relevant for people who use Discord particularly for gaming. If that's not you, don't even bother with these. You don't need to worry about them. Where you do need to pay attention is app settings. So Voice and Video has a series of configuration tools. I've developed a separate video around Voice and Video. I encourage you to look at that because we talk about these settings in some detail. Notifications let you determine when you get notified and how you get notified of different activities on the server. The language here is mostly straightforward. I encourage you to take a look at it. If you're not familiar with what anything means, just leave it as its default. The defaults on Discords are pretty solid. If you change it, you might get an experience that you're not prepared for, but if you leave it as is, you should be fine. Keybinds, game activity, those you should just leave as is unless you're already a hardcore Discord user. Text and images. This is a lot of preference information around how Discord displays images, videos, and lolcats and that sort of thing. My only advice is that there is an option here called Link Preview. And Link Preview should always be left to on. The reason for this is that we use a bot called SeshBot. Sesh is what we use for calendar. If you turn this off, you will not see any of the calendar items. So Link Preview is on by default. I encourage you to leave it as is. Anything else here that you think you want to change, go ahead and change it and find a solution that works for you. For appearance, for the most part, there's only two real major configurations here. One is the theme. By default, you're dark, but you can make it light if that's what you prefer. And then message display is cozy. So you've got a sample here of what this looks like. This is cozy. Compact makes this even tighter. I typically go with compact, but cozy is the default, and if you like that, you're welcome to it. Under the accessibility section, there are very fine-tuned font scaling and spacing requirements. If you have visual impairment challenges, this is where you can fine-tune Discord to meet your needs. Streamer mode, language, and then OS-specific settings, in this case Linux. Generally speaking, you can leave these at default and have no adverse consequences. At the very bottom is log out in red. If you log out, that just takes you out of Discord and you need to log in again. But this is where you log out. And then when you're done with the settings, there's an escape item here. You click the X and then you go back to the server. So this is Discord in a nutshell. It is a great tool. This is what we are relying on in the OCGR region for 2020. We think that we've got it configured fairly well. I encourage you to look at the other videos in this series. I've got a video on Word Wars. I've got a video on voice and video. I've got a video for mobile because there's a great mobile app for Discord. So go ahead and take a look at those because they will be very helpful to you. My takeaway message is that once you're installed and configured, always look for your ML helpers or the ML. At present, as I'm recording this, RCK the Writer, Shadow Moon Sadai, and J.E. Gillikin, who are your 3 ML helpers this year, are online. Our task is to make your life easier. So do not hesitate to reach out to us. When you look at the general chat, you will see that, I'm going to go to general chat. You will see that we have green text. Casalia RML has teal text. That way you can kind of pick us out from a list. So reach out to us, or you can always go to Help and Questions channel and ask your questions, and we will get to you as quickly as we can. So on behalf of Casalia and my colleagues RCK the Writer and Shadow Moon Sadai, I thank you for taking a look at this video. I hope that this has been helpful. We are certainly here to help you get acclimated. I know this is a tough tool to get accustomed to if you're not familiar with it. But we believe that because we can't meet in person this year, that this is the best solution we have to make our 2020 National Novel Writing Month season a success. So we all wish you the best. Reach out if you need it. Otherwise, thanks for watching and best of luck getting your win.